in your files. Just make sure you mark what it looked like afterwards. Okay.
Okay, so here we are. Thanks, leaders, for hopping on. Officially our leader meeting. Glad you're all here. Thanks so much for carving out some time. We're going to shoot for 30 to 45 minutes. And I thought, oh, what do we have to talk about? Until I made a list, and then it's like maybe quite a bit. So let's get going, okay? Ready? Carla, we want to see your real face. That's okay. So first of all, announcement, you guys, the Business Momentum 2020 conference in Miami, Florida in April. They're going to open it up to all coaches that just really want to grow and really want to charge forward. It's a pretty cool opportunity because everybody's gathered back there for the ILAT trip, all the like bigwigs and company people and Dr. A and all that kind of thing. They're able to grab everyone and run a conference. I think that Helen Irwin's even there. And they're like, Debbie, why do you not have more people coming? Well, I do understand you guys, Miami's a long ways away. I do get that. But if you can go, you know, the comment is always go to everything you're qualified for. Like make a commitment, go to everything you're qualified for. So it certainly does just like get you motivated, you get the most current information and get you really on target. So if you have people in your group that you think could benefit from that, as of today, they've opened it up so you don't even have to be executive director, just people that really want to run and really want to grow are invited to that conference, okay? There's Dana, looking very studious in his glasses. I'm not sure you can hear me yet, but we'll just talk about him. Okay, so that's just like an announcement. You guys will see that coming out. The other thing is, how many of you, well, how many of you are doing the Impact Boot Camp? Like trying to hop in there and Saturday, catching the little daily lives. Come off mute if you can kind of share what you're thinking of that. Like a lot of us have done a lot of boot camps. A couple of us, it's kind of, you know, we haven't done very many boot camps, but I'd love you guys' feedback.
I like the daily action. I'll be honest, I haven't been 100% at accomplishing it, but it's one more thing for me to strive for, I think, with my business each day, and just get me thinking about what are the actions that I'm doing.
Yeah. Do you find that the little daily live videos that, which for those of you who haven't caught them, they're like maybe, you know, 5 minutes. Are you finding that they're kind of, for the most part, fairly doable, specific enough that you can say, oh yeah, I can do that?
Yeah, I think so. I think I can always come up with excuses of why I can't get something done. But I do think they're doable.
Well, and you know what, if they do 30, they do really one every day, they do 30, plus we have the boot camps. If you do 20%, wow. I mean, what I'm enjoying is how specific they are and just super down to earth type of thing, nothing fancy. Anybody else have feedback on that? Anybody else trying to do catch the daily lives and do those?
Yeah, like yesterday when he said for the, you know, the 10, 5, and 3, I think is what it is. And he wanted us to do 20. I went, okay, I can try. And so I went in to add, you know, Facebook friends. And I look at your numbers and I feel like totally inadequate.
Oh, and you remember, okay, I've been doing it for 7 years and he's been doing it for, I don't know, 10 years, I don't know. And we've got to give ourselves grace, right? Remember, we're all on a journey and it's really that consistent progression there. Mm-hmm. So Jeanette, can you explain to not everybody's maybe even heard it, what the 10, 5, and 3 means? Not to put you on the spot, but.
Oh, that's okay. So for the 10, you're supposed to do 10 Facebook friend additions a day, and then 5 assessments, and then 3 coach incentives.
Okay.
Maybe I missed the 3.
I'm telling you what, if you're doing that, you're really killing it. So yes, 10 friending people. And you know what, to me, that's interesting. I've never thought of that before. to me, 10 isn't 10 friends that I add, but 10 friend requests that I send. Because I can't control, once again, we're controlling our actions. I can't control whether they say yes or not. In fact, I don't even worry about it, honestly. And then the 5 was conversations. So sending little messages, going to their pages and chatting with them. To me, it's not always a messenger message. It might be intentionally going to 5 people's pages. And I've really been trying to start a special list to keep track of that in my book. You can see it's a little short of 20. I think I didn't write them all down. I've been doing pretty good. It's really making me think a little bit more intentionally about what I'm doing. And the 3 was 3 posts. And one of the, oh my gosh, if you were doing that many shares and incentives and stuff, Jeanette Silva, no wonder you're like killing it. Probably as far as like growth over the last 60 days, nobody's grown faster than that lady right there. So like, let's give her a hand. But it's action. It's belief and it's action. It's pretty fun to watch. It's pretty fun to be able to be a part of it. So anyway, that's what we're doing. And then Christy challenged us to do what was it, Christy? Carla, you told us about that. What was it? I'm spacing it.
Are you talking about the incentives?
Oh no, hers was also the conversations. That's right. Starting 100 conversations by X date, which was good. Yeah. We'll make sure we talk about that too, Carla. Not that we know very much yet. So anyway, I find that boot camp is really a little bit different flavored than other ones in that, you guys, for us, it's not that it's like, oh, now I get it. It's just those little reminders to be in action. And I find it gives me talking points with my coaches. It reminds me, it's kind of like when Mark talks about the old farmer and the new farmer. The old farmer says, I know how to farm better than I do. We know more what all these little steps are than what we can do all the time. It kind of reminds us of some of those basics in there. And I really like that. So encouraging people that can hop on there is great. It's designed for senior coaches that want to grow and hopefully want to grow to executive director. Not everybody wants that, and that's okay. We're going to talk about time investment in a little bit. And then the other thing, you guys, as we bring new coaches on, those 2 new coach videos, did anybody catch those 2 with Patty Glick and her team? Dodie, and who was the other gal? I didn't know the other gal on her team. Did anybody catch those 2 new coach videos, trainings? Carla, what did you think of those?
I thought they were trainings that we should save, and as new people come in, if they haven't seen them, they should absolutely see it. Sit down with a note and pen and paper, and then connect with their mentor coach right after, because they were so thorough and so encouraging. And Patty Glick is just amazing at that.
Yeah.
She is, and she's got an amazing team. I think we'll see more and more of her in trainings as we go forward.
Yeah.
With what she does. She was a nurse practitioner, owned her own business and left that to do this full time. And her husband owned his own business, left that to do this full time. And they've really got some great skills that they add. But yeah, I saved those. And the other thing I found out is they do those every week. So pretty much we could count on, if you've got somebody new, they're either in week 1 or week 2. If you can catch them up, then they could catch into week 2. So we can plug them into them live, or we can get them those recordings. And I do have them, and it sounds like Carla has them if you guys need them. Those are the kind of things that I'm saving in my notes. Do you guys use notes on your phone? Got an Optavia category, and then underneath it, you can have all those little files, kind of folder, and then the little files. Maybe it's files in folders, whatever they are. That's definitely a keeper. I just was so grateful for that, because they spent a real intentional hour there laying that information out. So really, coaches, one of the 2 things is really great. Okay, so I'm going to look at my notes because I'm trying to be kind of conscious of making sure we get through everything. So, okay, we're finding ourselves at the beginning of the month. You guys all have like growing frontline volumes, coaches and that kind of thing going on. I've got like, what should I be doing in the beginning of the month? Well, what's one thing we all know? I see it.
Share, acquire clients.
Well, yep. And one of the reasons that we get motivated to do that is because we've done our monthly action plan. We have our map.
Yeah.
Look like a chirping bird over there. And I really liked with boot camp how Terry Miller did the little extra live clarification on it. And she added 3 things. Does anybody remember what any of those 3 things were that she asked us to add onto the map?
Yes.
Anybody besides Jeanette? Jeanette Stroh, do you know?
Yeah, she wanted us to list what element in our own life book we're in.
Great accountability.
Yes, and well, now I'm spacing on the other 2.
Okay, who remembers what the other 2 were? One, Jeanette Silva, do you know?
Yes. How many friends you have on Facebook?
As of the first of the month, so you can track how you're doing on that. And what was the 3rd thing?
Oh gosh, the pressure.
I know it's funny, like all of a sudden I'm blanking too.
I had all 3 of them.
I did it. I can't even think of what it is. Nobody knows? Oh, we're an interesting group. Okay, we will find that because I've just got to remember. I can't even remember now. Element
I'll find it.
Element you're on. If I looked at my map, I could tell you because I wrote it on there. I really can't remember. That's a really good one. Okay, we're being real, right?
And I thought she said what your dream is. Like,
yes, your why. How did I
Yeah.
forget that? Yes, your why at the top of your map. And I saw that on a couple of your maps. I think a lot of us missed that particular video. It's easy to not catch those little lives. They're literally, you guys, they're like 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. But yeah, what's your why? What are you really focusing on? What are you pretty excited about? And that's really great for us to keep in front of us also. Thank you, Jeanette. Teamwork. We got it. Okay. So beginning of the month is the map, the monthly action plan. And one of the things, you guys, it's easy on our map to put things on there that just really aren't even realistic. So what we really should be thinking of is in terms of 30, 60, 90 days. Like I tend to put the same group qualifying volume on there that I would like to get to. I don't really think I'm going to get there this month, but it's what I'd like to get to. I do think I could be there. Our team could be there in 90 days. But I actually took and created something I felt like was a really realistic goal. Our team as a whole grew a little over 5% last month, month over month, prior month. Yay! This last year, you guys, there were months that were not growth. They were like negative compared to the prior month, and there were months that were positive. It was kind of all over the board. And I really think a lot of it was a little disheartening, a little lack of faith because of some of the IT stuff and long phone calls, on hold forever and getting orders that weren't correct. There were just some things in there that we dealt with a little bit more negativity, and less seasoned coaches or newer clients that didn't have a lot of equity with usually seeing that it was correct. It was exhausting to them. So I feel like we've worked through those things. I told you guys last time, every 3 to 4 weeks, I get an email from the company asking of all the, they ask specific questions. How many times have you seen the wrong order shipped? How many times are you hearing that your coaches and their clients' orders aren't saving? And so they're getting the wrong things, or they're having to re-put in orders. When our boxes exploded and arrived not looking good. There's a very specific series of questions. Not that I really want to hear everybody's problems, but if you do have things, it would be good to let me know what you're dealing with in your businesses. So when they send me that email, I can represent our group accurately. And honestly, this month, since I filled out the last, and I love it because they say, what have you seen in the last 2 weeks? So if it's before that, we need to forgive and forget, because they're trying really hard to clean these things up. I need to look at what's currently going on. So if you guys have things currently going on, be sure to pop that in your coach support threads so that I can see those and make sure I give feedback that's accurate to the company. Okay, so, but the other thing is setting realistic goals. So if somebody wants to go, they did $2,500 this month, the next month, $6,000. Maybe that's a 60 or 90 day goal. Maybe they can do it in 30 days. But we want to help them find their wins. And you're going to be hearing more and more about that, is just having reasonable expectations. I've been in business for 42 years at the clubs. And I can tell you, we have years, like we track things, obviously in terms of revenue, but also in terms of memberships. Jessica Ward's on our membership team as Doug leads the team. We will go through an entire year of running an entire sales team, spending lots of money on promotions, doing all this stuff. And at the end of the year, guess how many more members we have on December 31 than we did on January 1st when we started? Doug showed you 6. That maybe is a good year sometimes. You guys, because things happen. People move, people die, people quit, people's kids go to college and all of a sudden they don't think they have enough money. And that's going to happen in our businesses too. And we have to learn to manage those disappointments and be sure we keep adding clients, because for sure some things are going to happen. For sure some orders are going to push out. I mean, it's just what's going to happen. And it's another reason your map is really important. When you're getting those little emails, especially if you've got a very large client base, you can't keep track of who's pushed out, who has expiring rewards and all those kind of things, right? It's too much to keep. If you have 5 or 6 clients, of course. But the businesses that all of you have a lot of frontline clients that you're supporting. You need to use your map and do compare it, because sometimes those orders just get stuck in processing. Visas are bad. I don't even know. Some of them, they're just glitchy. At the end of the month, I go in there and I look and there's not all the orders are processing, and we have to go try to figure out why. Because just imagine if one of your client orders doesn't process each month. First of all, you have clients hoping to get fuelings, but if a $360 order doesn't process, that makes a difference to us on our paychecks, right? So the more we watch those, for a while I wasn't writing down my client list. Matt's going, your frontline's fine, you don't need to worry about that. I'm like, hey, I don't have to take that time. Then I realized I kind of lost a grip on what was going on in my group. So maps are really helpful for a lot of different things. The other thing at the beginning of the month that I like to check, for those of you that have coaches, that you could check this too, is go into your reports. And I think it's right in Engage. There's a list of who's close to different ranks, who's due for a consistency bonus or a FIBC bonus. I always watch that, because those are really exciting. And I don't want somebody to miss a $500 bonus by $400 because they didn't even know there was a target out there. So I run that. This month, we actually only have 2 coaches in our whole team that are up for consistency bonus this month. But we had a couple people we had one person that nailed her FIBC, or this month will be nailing her FIBC bonus, right? Yay, Carla, first time ever. Do you guys know what our FIBC consistency bonus pays? Doug and Wendy do. Wendy, you tell us, come off mute and tell us.
$1,000.
$1,000.
Every 3 months.
So if you're FIBC, it means you've got 6,000 frontline as well as some other things. In the 6,000 frontline, 3 months in a row also pays you $1,000. So we want to watch those things for people. Usually at the beginning of the month, in like the beginning of the third week of the month, and then toward the beginning of the last week of the month, guys, I try to go in and I go through my tree view, and I look at every coach, and I look at what their volumes are. And if they're close to something, help them get there. Make sure they know. They don't know how to, most people don't know how to run their reports. They don't know how to look at what their rank is. So getting to $1,200, getting to senior coach is a really big win. And, it's easy for us to think, oh, well, they didn't make it. Well, if we can help them get there. In fact, Carla experienced this the last couple of months. She had people get to senior coach that wouldn't have gotten there if Carla hadn't said, hey, I think you can do this. Who hasn't ordered in a while? Here's your list. She ran them their list who hadn't ordered and gave it to them. Wrote a little message that they could send to people, and she did a bonus of some sort, a little bit of an incentive in there. But mostly it was the action of her inspiring that coach to reach out to their people that help people get across the line. And then they're excited that they had wins. And Carla, would you say you have coaches engaging now more because they found some wins?
Oh, sorry. I keep hitting a button. Yeah, it was absolutely, it really surprised me because it's just like something I haven't done before, but it just like everybody says, just holding their hand and giving them every little step. And they feel so indebted to you because you're working so hard for them. And so it was really eye-opening. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, like what I watch Carla do, because I'm in her support threads, is she'll actually take Zoom numbers and pop them off. Hey, join me in 15 minutes. I hope this works for you. And that's never pressury. It's never, you know, icky, as Patty Glick says. You know, it's comfortable. It's supportive. It's, I hope you can make it. Hey, you got a basketball game. I get it. I do sometimes too, you know, and not worry about it. But she makes it easy. Remember those early days when you're searching for the darn Zoom number? What room is it in? Well, you don't even know that the Zoom room holds like 8 or 10 of the numbers in memory, and they're all named. Just go in there and look for equipping coaches for success. Look for the name of it. So,
and then something that has helped a few of my newer coaches, I'm just dropping the important Zoom training that they missed. I'm dropping it into their support thread and saying, hey, let me know when you're done watching this and let's compare notes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And are they watching them?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but sometimes.
Well, and every time they do, it's a more of a win than if they didn't, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't take very long. It's kind of cut and paste, you know, if we have a little bit of intentional time in there. Good. Mm-hmm. So help them, people that are doing their maps, help them look at those and make sure that they're reasonable. And if they have a goal that's maybe 2 or 3 months out, help them do it 30, 60, 90 days. Okay, do you really think that you can get those, you know, each client's $350-ish bucks. And if the gap they're trying to fill is $2,000 and they think they can bring on 3 clients, that's not going to fill the gap, especially since we know at least an order is going to push out, right? Because we have to kind of fill the hole and then move forward. So help people do some good planning on that. Another thing, how many of you think it can be overwhelming for newer coaches or for you? All the different things like catch this Zoom, catch that Zoom, watch this thread, do. Anybody besides Doug think sometimes that can be overwhelming? Mm-hmm.
And all my coaches. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I honestly, I get that. I can feel that way too. And I watch some Zooms that maybe I wouldn't even really have to watch. Like I probably have the skills of how to get to senior coach. I probably have those skills figured out. But in watching those, I do learn and I can have easier conversations with my people. But with your newer coaches and even with yourself, I think 2 really important questions are, realistically, how much time do you have that you want to invest kind of on a weekly basis? And what do you want to accomplish? First of all, see if those 2 work together. But I'd like to talk for a second about if somebody tells you they're a newer coach and they said, you know what, I think I could do 4 hours a week. And we're like, oh, that's awesome. But if they have 4 hours, what do we recommend that they do? There's a 5 o'clock call, a 5:30 call, and a 6 o'clock call on Monday nights. There's a 5:30 call on Wednesday nights, Habits of Health, and after that's a trilogy call. Saturday morning we have Impact, is that the right name? Boot camp. The 4 hours are taken up and we have no real action of doing health assessments, sharing, doing Facebook posts, friending people. So any thoughts on how to manage that? Because I've really given this a lot of thought. I don't mean to insult Dr. A when he's not on the number 1 thing on my list, but he's not.
I mean, I personally think that though that the call after the Dr. A call is, to me, golden these days. I hate to say it, but I would miss the recap call with Team Synergy. So I'd make sure I got that one. I think that I'm probably not, but because of trying to connect people in on different days, that's as much of a problem as it is how much they do. I might have them, catch the Dr. A call, catch that that follow-up training call. And then I'd put them, if I could only get one more, I'd put them into the Saturday morning boot camp. Those are the ones that I would put into. And then that would eat up 2 hours. And then I'd have the other 2 hours for action.
Yep. Anybody have anything to add to that? Any other thoughts?
I totally agree with Doug. I think those are just, those are the best bets for them. And just focusing them on specific things so that they don't feel overwhelmed. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I totally agree too. And I want you all to like have the freedom to be more specific with people, with your coaches. Like, what do you want to accomplish and how much time do you have? And then say, can I give you some suggestions of what I think would be the most helpful? And if they can't do 5:30 because the Equipping Coaches for Success call after Dr. Anderson's, we know how to get the recordings. Get the recordings and send them to them, at least for a while. Because if they'll watch them, those calls are a win. And I agree. Number one, actually, I would have a tie for number one. The Monday night training, 30 minutes, the Equipping Coaches for Success with the Zoom, 5:30, is so top quality. And I think they're just so, the coaches are so relatable that are teaching it. Boot camp Saturday morning, if they're senior coach. If they're under senior coach, definitely Monday night instead of that. Instead, I would do anything I could to get them to watch the 2 1-hour Patty Glick trainings on starting out right, getting those basic action steps. Because if you're only going to do 3 or 4 hours a week, the action of learning how to share your story, learning how to get people to the telephone, how to do Facebook posts, how to get comfortable with all those things, how to do client support, mark off that time. Those are their most important things to do. And then you can grow from there. Does anybody have any questions on that or any other insights? Are we missing something that you feel is important? I think we've overwhelmed some people, and our philosophy is like, keep it simple. All those calls are not simple. Even just finding them on Zoom at first for people is not simple. Jeanette laughs. I think she agrees. But are we missing anything else there that you guys think is really important for those, newer coaches?
No, but could I ask, to make it easy, could you post those 2 Patty Glick videos?
Yes.
Where we can find them easy, and we'll pull them and put them into our notes? That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Would you like me to put those in the leader thread as opposed to Team Thrive?
I think you put them in Team Thrive would be a great place, and we'll be looking for them there.
If I put them there, will you put them in files in Team Thrive?
Sure. Yeah, you pop them on, I'll put them in files for you.
I can pop them on easily. If I have to figure out how to put them in files, it'll take me 30 minutes. Speaking of learning curve, you guys, this is non-judgmental. It's absolutely just a question. How many of you are doing the newsletter or a newsletter of any sort on a weekly basis? Awesome. I've paid a company to do it forever, as I know the Gabberts have as well. Once you learn how to do it through Optavia Connect Share, it's easy, isn't it, you guys? And then those of us that did the post like, hey, who wants my healthy newsletter, recipes, tips, and whatever. I just added those right onto my list so they're in there each week. Some people like the Gabberts who are better at managing lists will probably have a prospects list or a healthy newsletter request list and then their client list. For me, I know I would forget to take them out of my healthy newsletter request list and just put them into my client list. So they're just there. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. I get to cancel my what is it, Wendy, $45 a month that we've been paying for the last 6 years for this newsletter. Like, hey, I can use extra $45 a month. And the newsletter is awesome. Anybody have any questions on that? Is everybody using the company one? Jess, you are? You little smarties. Good. Okay.
Debbie, when do those
Mondays
they come out? The new
Yep.
one?
Yeah, maybe even Sunday. Christy, have you looked for them on Sundays?
I haven't. I actually looked for them on Monday morning and it wasn't there. And so I now do it on Monday evenings
Okay.
because I make sure that I know definitely they're there. So I always send my emails out every Monday evening.
Right. Great.
I send it out on, I've been sending it out on Monday morning, and I found it on Sunday night.
That's what I
Okay.
thought. I've heard it's out on Sunday nights.
Yeah,
I have not.
that-
Maybe it's a delay, or maybe I need to go back in. But yeah, I haven't been able to find it. So, but that's okay. I mean, Monday nights is good for me because it's very simple and easy for me because I have everyone's emails set up in a group, and so it's really easy.
Great.
So
Good deal. Okay. Okay, let's see, what else do I have here? One last thing on kind of technically things, then I want to talk about events and fun things and keeping this fun and connecting with our teams. So just so you guys know the formulas, and some of you will know this and some of you this will be like, huh? So basically for your group volume, the theory is for every 15,000 of group qualifying volume, there should be a coach in there that comes on board the next month. And if you don't have 15,000, that doesn't mean you never bring on a new coach until you get to 15,000. It's really kind of that first 15,000 is somewhere in that 15,000, your goal is to find a coach. But then if you're at 60,000 and every 15,000 represented one coach who's awesome at math, how many new coaches would 60,000 qualifying group volume for your prior month be? Dana, you're a little overzealous there. Yes, 4. 15, 30, 45, 60, that's 4 coaches. So last month, Team Thrive did a little over 109,000 in sales, all of us put together, which would mean we should bring on 7 coaches this month, which in a way is kind of like, whoo, that's manageable. That's not so bad. It's not like we need to bring on 40 coaches. Last month, I do not believe we brought on 1 though. So somewhere between 0 and 40 is probably a good number. So when I'm doing my map and setting my goals, one of the things, and we did this for a while, Carla and Doug and Wendy and I, we were doing this, is taking our group volume in each of us. If we take our group volume and divide it by the 15, how many coaches should we have? Now, we're all part of the same puzzle. So if I take mine and divide it by 15 and it's 7, and if Doug does his, Carla is part of his, we all have a little piece of that puzzle. So I'd like you to take a look at what would be a reasonable, what do the Dan Bell formulas of experience tell us that it should create a coach? And just really being intentional with those conversations with our new clients and doing celebration calls. You guys, I have people tell me, Debbie, you're just so busy. You guys, I'm only busy because other people are asking me to do celebration calls and explore calls and senior coach calls. And you know what? And you guys too. A lot of you out there, I've heard your calls. They're awesome. Friday night, Chrissy, that was actually kind of a fun way to spend Friday night, huh? We did an explore call with one of Christy's coaches and a potential new coach. And you know what? It was, at first I was like, 7 o'clock on a Friday night? Like, really?
I know.
But it was actually just really a great call. When we do this from the heart and we're really trying to connect with how we can change people's lives, it's kind of an emotional thing. And I wouldn't do that all the time, but Mark was gone anyway. And hey, I got to hang out with 3 cute girls. That was pretty fun. So I challenge you to take a look at your group volume and really be alert. Everybody in here, its goal, I know, is to grow their front line still, because our goal is to have really rock solid 10,000 frontline volumes, so that 6,000 is never a worry. And reach FIBC, fully integrated business coach, with just 5 senior coach teams. And it only happens 1 coach at a time. And it takes some time to build that. It takes more time than a person would think, but it's really the consistency and nudging them along so they staying determined to be there. We're transferring kind of like determination. Once you hit something, don't go backwards. Let's go forward. I'll help you. I'm here. And if somebody is senior coach or lower, I'll tend to reach to that group, not a whole group incentive, but I'll reach to that group individually and offer them $25 or $50 for them to bring on a new coach, because they need those wins. They can set up practice calls and say, hey, would you just help me out and hop on with my coach? And if they decide to say yes, there's an extra incentive in there. What we don't want to do is make it all about price. So we can dance kind of a fine line. And if they learn that the only way to sell is if there's a discount, that's sad. I totally believe our program is worth every penny that's charged, because it's probably really is replacing mostly their food budgets. I can't tell you how many people tell me, $14.50 a day. Are you kidding me? I spend $12.50 for breakfast every day. Or
I know.
lunch. Recently the one I heard was breakfast, and I was like, what are you eating? But anyway, I find most people can find the money if we can find the value, and it's not true of everybody, but we really want to focus on the value points. You guys, honestly, at the end, I find out there why. I go through the 4 pillars. I'm like, if I missed anything, does this all make sense? That was kind of a lot of information. And I'd say 90% of the time they'll go, oh yeah, what was the price? I'm like, oh my gosh, good question. And honestly, I don't intentionally omit it. I just really am so into the value part. Generally, I forget it. But it's easy to say, oh my gosh, that's a great question, and go in and then address it. And you guys, sometimes we're offering a special. I don't offer it if they're already all in. I really use it for people that are stuck. Because for a couple reasons. First of all, why spend $50 on somebody that sees the value and really wants it and can afford it, right? Usually if they do it 1 month though, they see the value, or they don't see the value the next month. They don't worry about that $50. Like Carla and I were talking today, we never do the $50 the second month. They either get it and they have results and they see the value, or they don't. So anyway, I usually do that for senior coaches, just really, or below, just really trying to help them be a solid senior coach, and then wean them off that. I do believe that it isn't that I believe, I see our numbers change. Whenever there's a promotion, numbers change. People have a reason, coaches have a reason to call potentials, and people have a reason to say yes. And it just changes the flow of our numbers. I don't like to do it all the time. We kind of skipped about 7 weeks or so and didn't really do a full-on thing. Last month we did one most of the month. Matt matched half of it for part of the month for us. But I'd like to ask you guys, what would be most helpful for you? Do you like some sort of a promotion? Do you want to do something for inactives instead? Any thoughts on that? Do you do too many? I've told Matt before, stop doing promotions at the end of the month. People don't want to do anything till the end of the month. So I'd rather go ahead and start.
I know.
I'd rather jumpstart the month. And then if we need it at the end of the month, add some extras in there. But it doesn't have to be that, you guys. I've done like a gift with purchase. February gift with purchase is 6 lean and green meals. You guys, it's like $29.70. It's cheaper than $50 off. And I was like, heck yeah, that's awesome. Or to people that haven't ordered in a while, hey, we've got this amazing new transformational system. I'd like to give that to you. You guys, it's $50. It's another way to do $50. It's value added instead of like, I don't think you can afford it. Because we know, they're going to have shipping and some things in there for some of those reinstates. I think right now we probably don't have time to talk about that more, but I'm always game to support you guys in your business. If some sort of a little incentive is fun or gives people a reason to pick up the phone. If anybody has strong opinions right now, probably it would be better because of time's sake is to pop it in our thread afterwards of something. If you have some ideas of what you think would support you the most, we will do something. But if you want input, give it. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Dana says, okay. And then events that are coming up for our team. So we have our ED shopping spree and happy hour that we're going to do. We ran for January, $100 for any team that reached ED in January, and another $100 for February. And I'm just going to say Jeanette Silva nailed it, and she got her 100. Even though she lives in Boise, I'm fully thinking she's going to love to come see her daughter in March and come to our event. So if we were to do that event, what did I look at? So would a Saturday afternoon, like March 14th, 4 o'clock-ish, 3 o'clock-ish work for you guys? The structure of this is like an hour and a half to shop. Then we will meet like at the Ram, which I'm talking Clackamas Town Center, pretty central for most all of us. Night-night. Another option would be like March 15th, if a Sunday is easier at a 3 or 4 o'clock. I think we just have a lot of working executive directors that midweek is too tough. So let me ask you real quick. March 14th, a Saturday, 3 or 4 o'clock-ish. Who could probably do that? Christy says no. Gabbert say no. Dana says, is that a yes? Carla's a no, I think, because I don't see her. Jessica is not a good time. Is that a bad time for you, Jess, too? She's sleeping. She's on drugs. So I really have to look at my calendar.
The 14th and 15th work for me. I put it in the chat.
Oh, thank you. I'm not used to watching chat. I should do that.
The 15th works for me, but just not the 14th.
The 15th would work for me too.
Okay. Doug, is 15 easier for you and Wendy? Yeah, 15 is great for me. I'm trying to figure out how to get chat off there now.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, we can make the 15th work.
Okay, so pencil that in on the 15th. And Christy, as our Chief Remembering Officer?
Yes.
Yes, please remember that. I texted her about a week ago. When's our team meeting?
I know.
The Chief
I know, and I'm like, I'm sending out the reminder tomorrow, and then she texts me just so that she goes, I know, but what is the day of the meeting?
I do. Guess I didn't write it down.
I'll give you a little heads up. Our next meeting will be March 3rd, and I will remind everybody the week prior. And do you want to shoot for 8 o'clock?
Yeah, I would like that if that's okay with you guys. Raise your hand if that would be a no way, no go. Jay Ward, no way, no go at 8? 8's okay. Dana, 8's bad? 8's good. Okay. I think we have double negatives going on. I think we're good. 8 o'clock. Okay.
Okay.
The other thing, you guys, and I'm going to let you go because it's 6:46. Who's counting minutes? Oh, me. I have a house that's almost done. I mean, there's things missing, like, oh, there's no range hood over the stove, but it's truly fully functioning. And I would love to host, Mark and I would love to host a team, just a hangout, fun barbecue. Maybe different people can bring side dishes and we'll do the meat and just have some fun together. We really, really need to keep that community going and keep it fun. Who thinks that sounds like, who would come? Who thinks that sounds like fun? Then they would invite their coaches. Carla, you're so stoic tonight. I already know she's a yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll throw out a couple dates on that. We don't have to look at it right now. Now, for the masses, I'm not positive Sunday afternoons are necessarily the best. So Gabbards, you might take a look at, I mean, and maybe that's just what, I mean, I know lots of you have kids in sports and maybe that is the best. I'm flexible because I'm just sitting here wanting people to come over. Okay, so I'll send a couple. What do you guys think? Like, I would like to do one in the next couple weeks, do one in February. Does February sound good? No? Jeanette said she can't come. Hey, but you want to know what? Maybe you can get Ryan to come. Jeanette, maybe we can support your coach or your local coach. Jeanette in Boise has a coach here in Sandy. That's cool. Okay, so I'll get that on the calendar and reach out to you guys with that. And other than that, the things that I had, one of them was a Billy topic, and he's not on here for some reason tonight. I hope that guy's okay today. I heard he wasn't, I don't know. I haven't heard from him. That's very, very unusual. He asked for a coach work session, like bring your laptop, let's sit in the same room and ask questions. How do we find announcements in Team Thrive? How do you find, like, how do we quickly find documents? How do we organize them on our phone so they're easy to find? Is there anybody besides Bill, or how do I actually do this goofy newsletter? Is there anybody besides Bill that would be interested in a work session? Great. I'm going to be asking you for topics. And Doug, who says he doesn't need a work session, will be asked to come because he will be able to teach it. And you see enough of me. You guys are all leaders. And I want you all up front. Okay? Yeah, you all bring a lot to the table. Okay, that's really what I got. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm gonna ask each of you individually in your threads, are these meetings useful to you and what would make them better? And I would love your input. Okay, ciao. Love you guys. Get busy. It's February. Good stuff happening. I'm serious.
Debbie, appreciate it.
Okay,
Thank
y'all.
you.
You're awesome. Bye-bye.